Hello, I'm Laura Bennett with German with Laura, and in this video, I want to talk with you about how you can leverage being an adult learner of German by starting with what you already know, which is English. You see, so many students stop learning German. They hit a wall when they start noticing all these tiny changes happening on the ends of certain words, and they have no idea what is going on. They try looking into it, and they're learning about declensions and adjectives and pronouns and nominative case and accusative case. All of this vocabulary gets so overwhelming, and a lot of people just give up at this point. But the secret to understanding German grammar as efficiently and effectively as possible is starting with English first. So I created a free course just to solve this problem, English Grammar for German Learners. You can click on that link in the description down below, sign up for this free course today. So is this course really for you? Well, if it's been a long time since you've been in English class, or if you can't currently dissect and label the different parts of a sentence, if you can't give me a ready definition of pronoun and preposition and nominative case, then yes, this course is exactly for you. In English Grammar for German Learners, we cover lots of material. All of these different parts of speech, from nouns to verbs to prepositions and pronouns, I go into in depth, all for the purpose of, one, refreshing you on what you already know, right? So just helping you with the terminology, because that's the tricky part, right? But then on top of it, and this is so crucial, in English Grammar for German Learners, I take grammar concepts that are essential in German, and I teach them to you first in the context of English, right? So they're not relevant to English, and you've never heard of them before. They'll involve things such as determiners and case, which you see here on this list. Because again, if you can understand how the grammar works in English, then you can transfer that understanding to German and connect the dots so much faster. So I want to show you very briefly just a sample of what English grammar for German learners is really like. And we're going to analyze just a few aspects of this sentence. The daredevil teenager explores a deep, dark cave, okay? So the very first thing that we want to do is identify the nouns. Where are the nouns in this sentence? We have two of them, teenager and cave. How do we know that? Well, that's in the definition of noun, right? So a noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. So teenager is a person, and cave is a place. So those are our two nouns in this sentence. All right, great. So now next thing, we need to identify what are called determiners. So again, this is a totally new concept. We have determiners in English, but we're not accustomed to calling them determiners because they're just not that important of words in English, okay? So determiners are little words such as the, this, that, my, your, some, all, both, a few, etc., etc. Determiners answer the question, which one or how many, okay? So in this sentence, we have the determiner the telling us which teenager we're talking about, and telling us which cave we're talking about, or how many caves, right? It's just a cave, not 100 caves. All right, so these are determiners, and this is important to understand because determiners in German are one of the two types of words that are going to habitually take these tiny little changes called declensions. So you have to know what determiners are in German so you can make those changes yourself or understand them when you see them, okay? So now the next step is to find the adjectives in the sentence. And adjectives also take declensions in German, so this is why it's so important to know what they are, okay? So adjectives describe a feature or quality of the noun. They add additional richness and flavor to the sentence. So here, we're not just talking about the teenager, we're talking about the daredevil teenager. That's adding information about the teenager. That makes it an adjective. The cave, right, it's not just a cave, it's a deep and a dark cave, right? So those are adjectives. Great. Next step. Now we need to do something called drawing in the slots. What on earth are slots? So again, I'm sure you never learned this in 5th grade English class because you didn't need to, but it's going to be absolutely crucial to understanding German grammar. So every noun in a sentence has to go into a slot, and along with it, it brings along with it the determiner and any adjectives into the slot with it. So the daredevil teenager, this is a chunk that all has to go together in one slot. Okay, so it's going to look like this. Great. So then cave brings along with it the determiner and the two adjectives deep and dark, and they get coupled together in a slot. All right. Next step, we need to talk about what role are the nouns playing in the sentence relative to each other. What are their relationships to each other? The teenager is what is called the subject noun because it's taking action in the sentence. The teenager is the one doing the exploring, okay? So S for subject, all right? And then in English, all remaining nouns are called object nouns, okay? We have just the one slot for the subject noun or nouns, and then after the verb, right here, all other nouns are going to be object nouns. This gets a little more complicated in German, but having this starting point in English is very essential. So now that we know this, we're gonna take our final step in analyzing these slots. And that is that we have to label the cases, okay? So again, this is a concept that's not super relevant to English, but it makes a world of difference in German. So the subject noun is always going to go into what is called the nominative case. And I color code this with pink. So the nominative case is the daredevil teenager. It's not just the noun, it's all of the other words that go together in the slot, the and daredevil, because again, it is the and daredevil that are going to take changes, going to take the declensions, and those changes are going to be impacted by which case the noun is in. So our subject noun teenager is in the nominative case, and that's going to be reflected in the precise changes that are made to the word the and daredevil coming in front of it. So now cave as an object noun is going to go into what in English is called the objective case. But again, you've possibly never learned this before because it wasn't very important in English, but in German it matters, okay? So same thing, now the determiner and the adjectives deep and dark are all going to take declensions that would reflect this different role that cave is playing in the sentence, that it is an object noun. Okay, so if any of this felt overwhelming, that's totally understandable. That's why there's an entire course on this information and more. Click below in the description. Start English grammar for German learners today, and I will see you there.